August 18th, 2012,
December 1st,
June 15th, 1991.
Was the scariest night.
Was the scariest night.
Was the scariest night.
Was the scariest night.
Was the scariest night of my life.
I felt absolutely terrified. Like something else was there. We weren't alone.
I felt that I opened the door to something that I couldn't close.
I kept getting this nauseous feeling like I need to get out.
I don't think I was supposed to go up in that attic. I think it was supposed to be left hidden.
I wanted to get up out of my own skin and just run out of that building as fast as I could. When I was 18, me and my buddies were just sitting in a parking lot, didn't know what to do. We were bored.
I heard about this abandoned hospital not far from here.
And I mentioned to them, I'm like, hey guys, you know, like there's this, you know, old psychiatric hospital. It's abandoned. You know, do you guys want to go check it out?
Isn't it crazy? That's what it say.
They're like, yeah, sure, let's go, you know. Trevor said, you know, he's got a brand new camera. He wanted to test it out, check it out.
Hunter, I'll sit in the front with Trevor.
I heard about this psychiatric hospital through a friend of mine and kind of caught my curiosity, and I wanted to go check it out for myself.
Ready to go, buddy?
I guess so. What do you think we're gonna see here?
I don't know. Hopefully something good.
When we were in the car on the drive over, I was pretty well silent. But the guys were kind of bugging me, trying to get me going, you know, Justin, what if we see something, you know, you're gonna freak out, you're gonna run out the house. And I just told them, guys, like, you know what, if we see something, we see something. If we don't, we don't. But at the same time, you know, you're petrified of what you might see.
This is it. This is the spot.
We took a back road through to the building, so that way we didn't get caught. To get in, we had to climb through a hole in the fence. It was maybe a 30-foot walk from the fence to the front of the building.
Trevor, Hunter, this way.
As soon as I looked over to it, you know, getting this eerie feeling, it was all boarded up, kind of falling apart. It's kind of like something you would see out of a movie. You know, you'd see this old abandoned place, looks spooky. You kind of look at it and it's like, oh, I don't want to go into that. But we had the idea to go into it. The only way into it was a little hole in the window in one of the boards. I instantly got this feeling in my stomach. I felt absolutely terrified. But I went in, they followed, and then the adventure started. Right away, as soon as I got in, I couldn't stop feeling that I needed to get out of there. Something was telling me that I needed to leave. But I'm the one who came up with this bright idea, so I might as well stay. I'm completely having mixed feelings right now. you're walking through the hallways and you just look at the walls, all the paint was like just peeling off the walls, and all the tiles were cracking, and the ceiling was just moldy and just falling through. And as we're looking around the building, I just start feeling overcome by a presence. Like something else was there. We weren't alone. I kept getting this nauseous feeling and this feeling like I need to get out. I asked them, I'm like, do you guys feel anything? Like, do you guys feel off? Like, do you feel right? And both of them kind of looked at me and they were like, yeah, we feel perfectly fine. It was more so like it was telling me to get out and I shouldn't be there. We found these stairs to go upstairs. And the stairway curved around, so I couldn't see to the top. We kind of look at each other and kind of like, you know, who's gonna go first? They kind of told me, you know, Justin, this is your idea. You go first. When I was walking up the stairs, I can almost feel like someone was behind me. It was like this cold, static and energy. It almost felt like it was breathing down my neck. Like someone was right there. When I'm walking through the old abandoned psychiatric hospital, I couldn't stop feeling overcome by a presence. Like something else was there.
Get up there. You come up here.
It was like this cold, static and energy. It almost felt like it was breathing down my neck.
Gosh, this place is nuts.
So when I finally got to the top of the stairs, it smelled really musty up there and really dusty, and there's all these cobwebs hanging around all the ceiling, and, you know, doors were kind of off the hinge, halfway on, halfway off. So as soon as I seen that there was actually stuff in different rooms at the top of the stairs,
Guys, come up here.
you know, I kind of figured it was worth them coming up as well, so I called them up. So I'm making my way slowly down the hall, and my buddies hadn't made it up the stairs yet.
This is so cool.
There was this one room right in front of me when we came up the stairs. The door was kind of halfway open. There's still like, almost looked like a bench with shackles on it. It was a gruesome sight. The second you see it, it knew exactly what was going on in that room when it was still open. At this point, Trevor was taking pictures of kind of like what the walls look like and what the inside of this building looked like. And as I'm looking around, I see like a shadow zip by. And when I look over, there's this tall figure standing in the doorway, almost glaring right at me. And like he was wearing this long coat. I assumed he was a doctor from this psychiatric hospital. He was staying so still. I could feel him looking at me. You know, he kind of had this male presence, like this dominant presence. I could have swore I heard him say, "Get out."
You guys didn't hear that?
I felt absolutely terrified.
No, man. Are you kidding me?
I think at that point I looked pretty pale. They seen something was wrong, and I'm like, okay, let's move on. I seen this other room. It kind of reminded me of like a patient's lounge. I seen all these broken chairs, and books were torn apart, and desks were all destroyed, and there was paint peeling off. But I kind of found a spot for myself to sit down and just kind of compose myself. Because at that point, I have all this adrenaline and all this fear just running through my body. I just want to run, but I know that I can't run. I just have to sit down and relax and get myself back together. It's kind of like the adrenaline that I'm feeling right now telling the story. All of a sudden, the door that was partially open starts closing again. And it keeps closing and closing and closing. I see this shadow again. I think it's still the same guy, as if he's really trying to get me out of this building. And I felt that entity just surrounding itself around me. I feel like there's 1,000 pounds on my shoulder. I can't breathe. And as much as I'm trying to scream, I can't scream. Just like now, I'm trying to say something and I can't, because it's like, it's happening right in front of me. All that's coming out is just, and nothing's coming out. All of a sudden, it was gone. At this point, my mind's telling me, Justin, that's it. Who cares what these guys think? You need to get out of this building. You need to go.
Guys!
Once I got myself, together and I left the room, I could see their flashlights at the other end of the hallway. They haven't been having anywhere close to the experience that I was having.
Guys! We have to get out of here.
It was more so of an adventure for them.
I'm serious.
Whereas at this point, I'm having the worst experience of my life.
We have to go. We just got here. Come on.
And I said, okay, guys, it's time to go. We need to leave. We need to get out of here. So we went back down the stairs and we see this other room. And it almost reminded me of like a nurse's lounge. I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to leave. But they haven't felt anything. So they're trying to get an experience of their own. As I'm looking around, I could see something again out in the hallway we just came from. And it was kind of just watching us. It was almost like the shadow was following me around this building and wanted to send me a message. This was his building. Why are we in this building? He doesn't want anyone there. Get out. Bring your friends with you. Just leave. I wanted to get up out of my own skin and just run out of that building as fast as I could. And I hear this loud screech, and this loud, almost childlike girl's scream.
What was that?
And it was so loud, felt like it lasted forever. You know, he kind of had this male-dominant presence. I felt absolutely terrified. It was almost like the shadow was following me around this building. I wanted to get up out of my own skin and just run out of that building as fast as I could. I felt as if my worst fear had come true. And I could have swore that my buddies heard it, but they didn't flinch. And I looked over at them and I said,
Guys, did you hear that? Nah, man.
And they stopped what they were doing and they looked back at me and they're like, hear what? And I said, are you kidding me? And as soon as I finished saying what I said, I heard this another loud scream, but even louder, and it's almost as if it was right behind me.
You heard it? Yeah.
I said, did you hear it that time? And both of them said, yeah.
Yeah.
We ran out the room as fast as we could. But Trevor wasn't there. And when I turned back around, it's almost as if the spirit that was following me around grabbed him, lifted him up, and dropped him face first on the ground.
You okay? You okay? Let's go.
As scared as I was at that point, and as bad as I wanted to leave, I wanted to stay and help, but I couldn't. I had to leave. And we went back to the car. Whatever that little person was afraid of, I felt like it was following us. I still felt like something was telling me, get out, get out, get out. We started to run for our lives. I'm done with this place. I'm done with this building. I gotta go. I put Trevor into the car. I look up at this building. And in one of the windows, I'm looking up. And I see this figure. It looked like the silhouette of this little girl that had just screamed. This little girl was maybe 8 or 9 years old. I feel like I let her down. Like I should have stayed there and helped her. I let her down. Can we move on from that, please? I started the car. I wanted to look back up to see if I could still see the little girl. But I had so much guilt on my mind that I couldn't look. I couldn't bear to look again because I was so afraid of what I was gonna see. So I drove off and we left. And I haven't been back since. And that was the scariest night of my life. I had my doubts before that there were spirits. But at this point, it's like, yeah, they're there, they're real, they're here. I believe there is a connection between the two spirits. I think this scream was a little girl, I believe, who was being tortured by this guy that was still in there and following me around. I believe that he was keeping her there against her will, not letting her cross over. And this man was keeping her there, not letting her go where she wanted to go. I believe she screamed because she wanted help.
When I was 8 years old, my family bought a house for us to move into. Me and my sister, we really enjoyed it because we had our own rooms finally. Lisa's my older sister, and we were always very close. We'd play in the front a lot because the backyard wasn't very big, but it was a very beautiful house. It was 2 stories, and I loved it when I first moved in. That day, me and my sister Lisa were playing outside when I noticed a window on the side of the house I had never seen before. It was a second-level window that seemed that it should have been in my room. There was also another window that was an attic window. As an 8-year-old, I was very intrigued with this attic window because I had never seen it before.
Come on in for lunch.
I was only living there for a few days when I noticed these things.
You guys having fun?
That night I was getting ready for bed, and I had a teddy bear I always slept with. But because we had just moved in, it was in my closet. And that's when I noticed the outline of what seemed like stairs. I think because earlier in the day, after I seen the window, I was a little bit more intrigued with this house, and I wanted to explore it a bit more. So seeing the stairs made me think that maybe there was more to the house than what I knew. Shortly after, my sister wandered into my room. And that's when I told her about the steps.
Looks like some stairs. I wonder where they go.
I was pretty excited to find that, especially earlier seeing a window boarded up, and I wanted to find where that staircase led to.
Did you find out? Yeah.
In my mind, it made sense that on the other side of the wall, that there was an entrance to some type of staircase. Me and my sister realized that the staircase must have come out somewhere in the hallway, but there was no door. We both put our hands on the wall, feeling for something. Not exactly sure what we were looking for. There was one part of it that felt like there was a breeze blowing through it.
What do you think's behind it?
And definitely felt different than the rest of the wall.
Is it like the wallpaper?
We were doing renovations at the time, since we had just moved in.
She'll understand.
So when me and my sister ripped the wallpaper off, my mom was sleeping, and we knew that she wouldn't discover it till the next morning, or that's what we hoped for.
Under it.
When we tore off the wallpaper, we've discovered a door.
It looks like a door.
It was almost like it was just a part of the wall that opened. I think it was really weird that the door was wallpapered over. I later found out why. They clearly didn't want anyone to find that entrance. But we opened the door. And that's when we saw a steep staircase leading to a room we had never seen before. Me and my sister were right. We found the secret staircase. I was fascinated by the idea that maybe no one else had seen this space since way back in the old days. There was probably about 8 or 9 steps in total, and it just led up into the darkness. Me and my sister were both excited, but at the same time scared. It was really creepy up there. The beams were old, and there were cobwebs everywhere. The only light that shed in the attic was from the tiny little window.
Hey, Lisa, look at that. Lisa? Lisa?
When she came back with the flashlight, we noticed that there was a lot of different things up there. Most of the items me and my sister found were mostly trinkets, probably from previous families. But we did find a marriage certificate. We also found old coins and newspapers.
What's this? Is that like a newspaper? Maybe here it's before.
Me and my sister noticed that there was a whole section of the attic that was just boarded up. It right away didn't feel right to me. I felt like there was something that was trying to be hidden.
looks like a door. Yeah, but there's a big hole in it.
As soon as I seen the hole, I was creeped right out. I knew right away that something was off. Me and my sister realized that the staircase must have come out somewhere in the hallway. But we opened the door. There was a whole section of the attic that was just boarded up. I felt like there was something that was trying to be hidden. As soon as I went up in the attic, I knew it was a mistake. It gave me the creeps, it gave me the chills. It made me really uncomfortable. And it looked as if someone tore through the boarded up wood, struggling to get out. And as an 8-year-old, that scared me because to me, that meant a monster lived in there. The whole attic was just creepy. I just knew in my gut that something bad was about to happen. Me and my sister were so freaked out, we decided it was just a good idea to get out of there. I was already really scared from what just happened. So when I went back into my room, my skin was just crawling. I realized one of my clowns was playing music. And what really freaked me out is that you had to crank this clown for it to play music. But nobody was in my room to crank it. I looked at it, trying to figure it out. Couldn't understand it. I was scared. I thought that my room was haunted, that my house was haunted. I felt that I opened the door to something that I couldn't close. But the music all of a sudden just stopped. I couldn't sleep right away after because I was too scared. So I hid under my covers for a bit and I just tried to think of happy thoughts. Tried to convince myself of different situations of why what just happened could have happened. After I fell asleep, I woke up because I heard something talking. I thought it was my sister at my door. She used to come and sleep with me quite often. I realized it was my dolls that were on my dresser. They were all going off at once, talking, making different noises. As I'm listening to these dolls talk, I all of a sudden hear the clown's music. I was so scared, and I ran right to my mom's room.
What is it? So are you okay?
Yeah.
I went into her room and I screamed, "Mom, wake up. There's something going on. My dolls are talking to me."
I'm coming, sweetheart.
And I was so scared.
Mom, the dolls are talking. The dolls are talking.
Oh, sweetie. No, baby. Sometimes what happens is the batteries, when they get old, they just run down and They sound like they're talking, but they're really not.
At that point, of course, the dolls weren't talking no more.
Nope, nobody's in there.
She made sure nothing was there, that there was no boogeyman in the closet.
What? Nothing. Okay, can we go back to bed? Good day, friends.
My mom calmed me down enough to get me back in my bed, but that wasn't enough for me. I knew that something was going on. I'm trying to get back to sleep. And all of a sudden, I hear footsteps coming from the attic. The steps sounded really heavy but slow. It almost sounded like the footsteps were coming from behind that wall that was built. I don't think I was supposed to go up in that attic. I think it was supposed to be left hidden. Maybe that going up there unleashed something or opened the door for something. At this point, I was frightened, but I was also intrigued. I needed to know what it was. I needed to know what was taunting me. Me and my sister were so freaked out, we decided it was just a good idea to get out of there. And all of a sudden, I hear footsteps coming from the attic. I don't think I was supposed to go up in that attic. I think it was supposed to be left hidden. I knew it wasn't an animal because of the weight of the footsteps. It sounded like, almost like there was a man in the attic. At this point, I was so scared that I knew I had to do something because it wasn't gonna stop. As I got out of my bed, I walked to my door very slowly, and I opened it. And my sister was standing there. When I asked her what she was doing at my door, she said that she heard something calling her, or someone whispering her name.
I've been hearing noises all night.
Even though we were afraid, we needed to know what was up there. We grabbed a flashlight and we held hands as we walked down the hallway. We climbed back up the steep, narrow steps to the attic. And when I got to the top of the stairs, I was frightened. I was so scared. I look at my sister, and I noticed her face was pale. So pale, like a ghost. Her eyes were huge. I was frightened. I knew that something scary was behind that wall. And then all of a sudden, I've never been as scared as I was when I saw that girl. Right away, it wasn't human. Just by the way she was looking at me, there was no life in her eyes. She didn't say anything. She just stared at us. And as we're staring at this spirit, she slowly comes towards us, getting closer and closer. my sister screamed. I screamed too and booked it for the stairs.
It's a monster! Come on!
We were both in shock, in fear and panic. And that was the scariest night of my life. We weren't the only ones who had this type of experience within that house. When I look back at it now, I realize I should have never found the attic. Somebody went to great measures to hide it. When I moved out of the house a few years later, a friend of my mom had lived there previous to us, and he told my mom that before he moved in, the previous owners had the house blessed because they too had experienced something that they couldn't explain. I think the little girl died there a long time ago, and I think she's trapped in that room. I still don't know exactly what I experienced that day. I don't know who this girl was or what she wanted from me and my sister.